Sorry, like I'm entering someplace. Yes. COVID precautions.
Three, two, one. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Lo-Fi Horror Guy, and welcome to yet another episode of the Lo-Fi Horror Guys growing on you live today. Very, very cool guest. Can't wait to talk with him all the way from over in Turkey. This is the second international guest, Mr. Jean Evrenol. Super excited. He has done couple of movies here we're going to talk about, a couple of things here, some shorts. We're going to get on and get this bad boy started. John!
Hello! What's up?
How's it going, man? Look at you!
Yeah.
Damn, you're like full vacation mode. What's going on, man?
Full on. I'm down in South summer town of Çeşme.
Okay. All right.
Taking some time off after a busy year, and it's all been going through Zoom and all like the phone and like interviews. Anyway, nobody talks face to face, so I said, "What the heck? I'm just gonna spend some time here in the family house."
Beautiful.
So yeah,
beautiful. All right, nice. So you got like a whole week planned there. You get to hang out or what?
Yeah, I'll be here. I was here for a week, and then I went back to Istanbul for a week, and then like I'm back here for maybe another 10 days with my son and my wife, and also the cast and crew of my last show. It's a mini series I did for a platform here.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So first of all, thank you very much for being on the show and welcome.
My pleasure.
If you've never seen it before, basically we have a little bit of an intro, kind of like an icebreaker, a couple of questions, and then the majority of the interview is the body, kind of your work and your craft. And then we have one finale question that I wrote just for you, man, just for a final segment for you.
Awesome.
All right. So first of all, if we can dig right in, name 3 of your favorite horror movies.
Whoa. Okay. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I can't. The Fly.
Oh yeah.
And number 3. I'll go back a little and then to the classics. Haksan.
Oh, okay. All right.
I love that one. Like,
sweet.
If I have to go for like a really old school one, I should go to Haksan.
Sweet. Okay. All right. That's not one that you hear a ton talked about, but yeah. I mean, those are all classics. Those are very cool.
Have you seen it?
It's been a little while, but I am familiar with it. Yeah.
Because like I was a big fan of Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
And then I noticed the name of the company, Haksan. And then I Googled it back in maybe it was Yahoo, like maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then and then I found out about the movie and I watched it and I fell in love with it. It was an experience. I have to revisit that sometime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because there's little parts that break out to me, and there's other parts that I don't quite remember. So, but yeah, that's one I'm going to have to revisit. So thanks for the inspiration.
Awesome.
So now, if I were to come over and visit in Turkey, obviously not right now, but if I were coming over in travels, what would be a local food staple? What would be, like a restaurant? What would be, just something that I'd have to try that's local to you and the food chain there?
Usually people go for kebab, and then some lahmacun is like a Turkish pizza type of thing, small. But like my favorite delicatessen, if you will, is the after hours food. Like you go to a club and then after club like 4 a.m. you eat this thing called kokoreç, and it's the sheep intestines with lots of spice, like in a kind of like a burger kind of way, like Turkish kind of burger. Yeah, that will be the thing, kokoreç.
Coconuts. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a little bit of a newer bit too, just because it's something personal to my guests that I have on here. My wife and I do some traveling, and it's kind of fun just to hear some people, as far as like what's local to you that you enjoy. So I appreciate
Awesome.
that. Thank you.
Awesome.
So going back a little bit, going back to your younger years, your horror origin story. Where did it all start for you? What was like a first movie that you saw?
Man, I kind of like discovered horror very late. But from a very young age, from like 7, 8, I was a big fan of heavy metal and old album covers. I was a big fan of Conan comics, and my parents listening to classical music like Tchaikovsky, Swan Lake, and that darkness in that music. They spoke to me very much. All the torture scenes in James Bond movies and whatnot. But I grew up in the 90s. It was a time of thrillers. Horror was a bit passé, if you will. And I was a very scared kid. And my parents my parents thought like horror as a kind of like a lower art,
Right.
So it was all like my mom loves Pasolini, my dad loves Kubrick, but like when it comes to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they're like exploitation. So it was only after age of like 17, 18. Also, like I was very scared. Like I would watch Goonies, and I was very scared of sloth. I couldn't sleep for days. I remember turning off Child's Play and stuff. So like but I was very interested in like horrific arts, if you will. So after the age of like 17, 18, it was through art house movies, European taboo breaking, very hardcore art house movies of like Haneke, Gaspar Noé. And then like I was like, what's next? What's more? So like through this like flirtation of art house with horror, like I found like through David Lynch, Cronenberg, George Romero, Toby Hooper, Carpenter. Oh, there's somebody called Dario Argento, Fulci, and then like I became like a full-on horror fan. Also like discovering them at a later age, like in a maybe more mature like. Through a more mature perspective, I fell in love with all the classics, like from James Whale's Frankenstein to the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And I'm like, when I first watched Nightmare on Elm Street, I was like, oh, that's why Freddy's an icon. Like all these like little moments of discoveries. When I first watched Child's Play, I was like blown away. And then also there's all these like some other movies whereas like my peers kind of enjoy their cult value. But for instance, Lost Boys, I could never like dig it because I didn't watch it when I was a kid, So
right.
I don't know, like so it's that's my.
That's a little bit of a nostalgia movie. I still enjoy it, but I saw it when I was young, and I can agree as far as it might have a little bit of that value to it.
Yeah, also it's very subjective and personal. Like there's all these like other like nostalgia movies. Like I'm a sucker for very kitsch movies, but and then there are some other ones that are very popular amongst like especially Western audiences that I kind of like missed.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's funny you were mentioning as far as like the soundtracks and the scores of things, and kind of like the creepy sounds. What is that value as far as your movies that you're doing now? What are some of the people that you're seeking out? Who are some of the people that you would like to work with as far as scoring?
Perturbator or Perturbator. Do you know these guys?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if I'm like pronouncing it correctly, but Perturbator, like they did music for I think The Void. Also, they did music for.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Also, Hobo with a Shotgun.
Yeah.
Jason Eisner. Like he has an amazing short film called Why for Young Bucks in one of the ABCs of Death, and he was like that. So it's like a synthwave band, like retro electro. They're like Carpenter Brut, which is also like a very John Carpenter inspired synth-based dark electro composer. Like they would be the first ones I would want to work. But like also if I'm fantasizing even more, I would love to work with Clint Mansell. And then the guy who did Only God Forgives. I'm not sure if that was that was. Clint Mansell.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that type of synth-based dark tunes are my favorites lately.
Sure. Okay. Awesome. Those are definitely ones that add to the atmosphere and to the overall like draw and feel to it. So I can see that'd be a very well match for him.
Yeah, my friend Amrish here like approves my Clint Mansell. Yeah, hi Amrish.
When you were getting into horror movies and started getting more of an interest to it, did you have local video rentals or movie places that you could buy movies or merchandise of the likes?
Yes, especially VHS was huge in Turkey when I was younger, and then also Turkish TV was much more liberal back in the days, and they were very more experimenting with like from Tinto Brass to Cronenberg to Tim Burton. I watched many of these movies in Turkish TV prime time, but nowadays it has gone really bad, really unfortunate. The pop culture here has gone through like a cultural erosion in the last 20 years. But also, Turkey is like the only country, I think, outside of South Korea, which we had VCD.
Yeah, okay.
VCD format?
Okay, yeah. All right.
For a long time, like we had VCD format, and also like also piracy is huge here, man. It's like Hong Kong, man. It's like China. Okay. Like piracy is huge. Like every big major town, every major neighborhood has a pirate VCD DVD shop. This is like 15 years ago. And like when I went to those like pirate shops, like even like professors like from film studies courses of like major universities was there like picking Criterion DVDs out. They're all pirate. Damn. So, but now unfortunately like all this streaming killed pirate DVDs. Like it has gone even more pirate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the situation here. We have Netflix here, obviously, but it's very, very limited compared to the Netflix US. We don't have Shudder. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's crazy too because you're talking about Netflix, and just last night I'm kind of wrapping up some things and doing some editing on videos, and I noticed that they added Gaspar Noé's Love. Have you ever seen that? Do you know what that is?
I saw the premiere with Gaspar Noé attending at Toronto Film Festival.
Oh my God.
I think, 2 days after Baskin's premiere in Toronto.
Oh, no shit. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That movie is full on basically a porn.
Dude,
and it's on Netflix. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. It was also in Turkish Netflix too. I think it was another alternative platform in Turkey called Blue TV. They had it. Okay. As long as it's foreign, like it's less censored here,
wow.
There's that double-faced censorship here.
Okay.
But it's crazy. Like I was there on the world premiere, and it was in Midnight Madness section of Toronto Film Festival, and the director of Midnight Madness, Colin Geddes, was on stage, and there's like 1,200 people. Like we were like it's like almost midnight. We're like all drunk and very loud, and he goes, "Guys, we're gonna watch an art movie tonight. It's an art movie," and we all go like, "Oh!" So it was quite a ride.
Damn. Okay, that's wild. Holy shit. So, as far as we're gonna dig into your full features and your full lengths and everything, but I wanted to first kind of get into some of the shorts that you've put out. If somebody was just discovering some of your stuff, what would be a couple of your shorts that you would recommend?
The Chest and To My Mother and Father, probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also like To My Mother and Father is like it's very dear to me, and also The Chest it's my starting point to everything. I started I did like proper.
Are you good?
Like 5-6 shorts before like jumping onto Baskin feature.
Right. Okay, so now with just to kind of go back within The Chest, what was the earlier inspirations behind that? That is a fucking wild story.
Manowar, man. Manowar. Like when I was a kid, Manowar was my all-time favorite band, and when I was doing my first short film, I thought like maybe I will never do a short film again. So if I'm doing this short film, I'm gonna just pour all this like feeling here, and I'm just gonna make a scream like, and it's gonna be like as like apocalyptic and crazy as Manowar is for me, So as cringy as Manowar is, it's like a big inspiration for me.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, now some years later and having a family. Go ahead.
Sorry. So also I'm remembering now. Also at the time, New French Extremity was a big inspiration for me. Like Frontiers, Martyrs, High Tension. Also, Alexandre Aja's movie he did in Hollywood, the remake of Hills Have Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes, yeah.
Yes, they were like a big inspiration for me. And also Fulci, bleeding from the eyes and stuff. That all comes from Fulci.
Okay. Damn. I mean, now, with you, you're, because your wife's currently pregnant, right?
Yes, she is.
It's just like, okay, so do you start having, different kind of feelings as far as like with some of the stuff with the children and with after the fact? Is it kind of a little bit,
but no. Like I'm still very much like very much a horror guy. But yes, after I had a kid, I remember like thinking, oh, there's all this behind life and death. So now like I have like. No matter how much you read or like listen about it, like once it happens to you, like, I mean, it obviously changes you in many ways, but I'm still like, I still find horror very poignant.
Sure. Okay. All right. And it's one of those things to where it's a separation of art and reality, and that's kind of like a movie is an escape, in a sense too. So it can't be, full on judge, but I just kind of wondered from a personal experience and, having children myself, I was like, the first time I watched those, I was like, holy shit.
I mean, I'm more disturbed by real life events, like real life murders or real life, any kind of like injustice. I think I'm hurt more now. But when it comes to fantasy and literature, I still like enjoy it the same, I think.
Okay. All right. Cool. As terrifying as some of the imagery is in some of your movies and some of the scenes that happen, what are some scenes over the years that have stuck out in your mind, horror-wise, or something that's happened in an action movie? What are some scenes that have stuck out to you?
Man, one scene that really traumatized me up until today is from Jaws 2. The scene where the shark actually swallows this like elder girl who's taking care of the kid. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like this teenager like who was in charge of the little kid.
Yeah.
They saved the kid, but like that shark like coming from the sea, and like still today, like when I'm swimming, I need to be with some other people, otherwise I can't.
Yeah, I mean, that was my first horror tattoo right there. Is old Jaws, man.
Boom, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome.
There it is.
I have some horror tattoos as well. Like I have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I have Beyond. They Live.
Oh shit! What do you have from the Beyond? Oh damn! That is awesome. Are all of them right there on your arm?
Yes, I have this. Leatherface.
Holy shit!
I have Jason here.
Oh my god!
Who are you gonna call? And I have Vincent Price as the Fly.
Oh my god, that is so sick!
This is They Live.
Damn.
And also I have a Toni Collette tattoo from Hereditary.
Oh, dude, check this out! Look at that.
Oh shit! Boom,
dude, Hereditary. Let's talk that a second. When you first watched that, what was your impression of it?
It was like before I saw it, it was on like there was this list of like all-time 20 horror movies, and then this movie was in it, and I'm like this is like an ad. This is a commercial. Like it can't be like this movie just came up, and like I hate these kind of like articles. And then, like everybody was talking how great this movie was. I was like, when I went to see it in the theater, I'm like, man, I'm really not gonna be like impressed. But I was blown away. In the theater, I was like almost shaking. And I think together with It Follows, I think Hereditary is my favorite of the last 10, 15 years.
Dude, high five, fist bump. I am all the way there. Absolutely, I can include some of your entries into that as well. But Hereditary, that was one where it took me forever to watch. It wasn't until I actually got it as a gift where I just thought the same exact thing. Where I was like, this isn't going to be as good as people are saying. People are blowing this up, and I watched it, and I was just fucking blown away. Like
exactly. Yes. Yeah. And also like the ending of it. And many aspects I found very parallel to Housewife for some reason. Like, obviously, I'm not comparing
Yeah.
Housewife to Hereditary. Like, Hereditary is like on a next level shit. But like, I thought like in many ways, in terms of inspirations, we're coming from the same veins of like this cosmic
Yeah.
horror and family shit.
Family. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that. With what are some of your favorite uses of practical effects in your movie?
In my movie,
Yep. In any of your features, shorts, your
I love the,
Baskin,
I love
Housewife,
the slaughter of the goat in Field Guide to Evil.
Field Guide to Evil. That's so wild. That's so
Yeah,
wild.
I love
Was
that one.
okay.
And
Any others that pop
I
up?
love the spider coming out of the guy's mouth in Baskin.
Baskin.
I mean,
Yeah.
also it's very cheesy and it's very like simple CGI, but the ending of Housewife having those huge giant tentacles in the
Tentacles.
sky, it's like a dream come true for me. Like when I had that, like okay, I can finish, I can die peacefully now. Like I have like
So it's funny. So digging into Housewife a little bit, that was one of those movies like Hereditary where I watched it and then I couldn't stop thinking about it until I had to watch it again and then kind of just dig into it. And I've probably seen it now 4 times to where just trying to dig into watching it over and over. And that end scene is so damn epic. Like what all went into that? What was earlier preparation for how you wanted to how you wanted to
I mean
film
it was
that?
all. I think the whole movie was like this setup for the last 10-15 minutes,
Sure.
and that ritual and I think it's my way of like kind of like it's hard to put into words, but it's my way of thinking what I think about like um, passing on from a generation to generation. You know, being a woman, being a family, bearing the consequences of like what your parents do, and also like just birth and death and all these like things that are like too poetic and big to talk about in a way. It was my way of just like making a pastiche from all the little horror films I like and putting them together and then just like smashing them into this Lovecraftian thing. You know, like there was very much in the mouth of madness there
Oh yeah.
for me. Also, Brood, Cronenberg's Brood was like a big inspiration for me. Having like when you know like when that the baby comes in a cocoon and the woman like opens it with her mouth, that's like coming straight from like the Brood scene, you know, when she
Yeah.
was opening. So but it's very difficult to say like why I picked those certain movies like together and then next to, because I'm very interested with cults. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
fascinated with new age, you know, preachers and stuff. So like putting all together like in a Lovecraftian context and also like making it like a dream. You don't know where it starts and where it ends. I do, but like it's kind of like I also have like 2 or 3 different ways in my head to read the movie, and each time I'm watching it or when I'm editing it, like each time I'm like approaching a scene, like it comes from a different ways, and I enjoy it a lot. So it's yeah, it was a crazy project.
Okay, okay. And I was going to mention it's really funny you mentioning Hereditary. I was going to mention with Housewife and kind of having those elements of like a family, passing some things down and passing down some hurt and issues and we started talking about that and I just kind of wondered if there was a little bit of inspiration or a little sprinkling in there of that.
But I watched Hereditary later, so
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, Housewife was 2017, and Hereditary I just watched 2 years
Oh,
ago.
yeah. Oh, okay, okay. Gotcha. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, that's awesome. And I just, asking as far as like knowing that you're a horror fan and not, because it's definitely not the same movie. It's not anything close, but there was just little sprinklings of things like that, where it was like the family passing down issues to somebody else that, it's not their fault, but it's just falling upon their shoulders.
I mean it's something that comes from my short films too. Like also, my grandmother is about a grandmother and a granddaughter who's like grounded in a bathroom, and then Chest is about a family just getting these like crazy bad news in the form of a voodoo baby
Mm-hmm.
being heads being crushed. So it's all like family is always like at the center of my uh, work, if you will.
Sure.
And I don't know. I'm coming from a very tight knit small family.
Okay.
Maybe that's why. Like that's where when I'm taking it home.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
With Field Guide to Evil, we just mentioned you did the short, The Haunting to Al Carisi. Uh,
Yes.
how did that come about to you as far as them reaching? Did they reach out to you? Was it something that you had heard about?
Yeah, they reached out to me and said like there's this project of like 8 different countries, 8 different horror directors. I'm like, they're never gonna like finance it through Kickstarter, man. Or like maybe it was Fongo, some other like funding. That's that's
Sure.
rude that I don't remember which one was it. But like, and then I said like they're never gonna make it. And then one day, boom, they call me and like say we have the money. We're gonna give you like this amount of money and just shoot us a short horror film and do whatever you want. The only thing we want, the only brief is that we want it to be a folk story from your country. So I just like, since it's a childbirth gin,
Mm-hmm.
since it's about like birth and it's about, family, and it was very close to my short films. I thought like this
Right.
idea of this childbirth gin. So I said like, I'm just going to do this. And that's how it came about. And I wrote it
Mm-hmm.
with my wife, actually maybe 6 months before we had our first kid. But at the time,
Oh
like we didn't.
wow.
At the time, like we didn't know she was pregnant. So like, it was really crazy watching that movie with the baby, needle in the eye, and everything. After I had a baby, and I'm like, oh my god, like my son is gonna grow up one day and gonna like watch this movie, and what the hell is gonna think about me? You know?
how how involved is your wife with some of your works? Is she on set? Does she do a lot of writing with you, collaborating at all?
I mean, she's not that involved, but like
Okay.
she's a big inspiration, and she does the um, some. She did the costumes for Housewife. She did the art direction for Girl with No Mouth, and
Okay.
sometimes she's there like 100% with me on set. And in some other projects, she's not there. She has her own. Uh, Harness company. She has a harness brand. She's
Oh, okay.
so yeah, that's what she does. She's
Okay.
more coming from a more fashion perspective.
Sure, sure. And I mean, speaking on Baskin too, as far as just the whole how what was initially, even I guess to say with the short, what was the visuals for you as far as how you wanted the dress, the attire, how did that all come about?
Well, that was actually again just like my short films, the um, French new horror wave, especially Frontiers and Hills Have Eyes, was a big inspiration for me. And I
Hmm.
just wanted to do something like a punch in the gut. And I just said, you know what? What's the biggest authority in Turkey? What's like if I want to challenge taboos, or like if I want to do something sensational in Turkey, what I said like, how about I do it about five cops?
Yeah.
And so I'm just gonna have like five cops, and I'm just gonna have them talk about sex, and in a very toxic masculinity type of way, which is very much what I grew up with, and which is very much like a mirror of Turkish culture. So I just like
Sure.
I'm just gonna have them like chat like, but like I'm not gonna make them bad guys. I'm just gonna make them like very immature, just how they are in Turkey. And then like I'm
Hmm.
just gonna have them run into this like I'm just gonna make them as Turkish as I can, and then I'm just gonna have this five Turkish cops. I'm just gonna crash them into a totally alien, um, Twilight Zone-ish, uh, sexually challenged nightmarish zone. That was the intention, to have this like crazy hybrid, this forced hybrid of these two totally different genres of like a Turkish art house movie, just like piercing through Twilight Zone.
As far as Baskin, the one thing people ask me about different horror movies that'll actually scare them and be like, "Oh, what's something that's scary?" And I tell them, if you ever want to see a movie that'll inspire you to be a good person and not go to hell, watch Baskin. That whole idea of just the nightmare of them going through what the fuck they end up going through. Still, I watched it a couple of days ago again just to kind of refresh. It still churns my stomach.
Man,
It is
also
very
like
heart wrenching and nightmarish.
also like that scene where the main guy is talking with the boss Ramsey. They're talking about a dream. The main
Hmm.
guy is talking about his dream. It says like that's kind of like a real story in the sense that my father, who's like a very scientific guy, who's like a very not a religious guy at all. He's not a um, anyway. He was very interested about dreams. When it comes to dreams, he was
Okay.
very scared about dreams in a way. And then he told me this story like when he was a kid, him and his like best friend. One day they had this like heart-to-heart chat. Like if one of us dies one day, let's like speak to the other one without scaring each other or something. And then like a couple of years later, my father had in his dream like his friend comes to him and my father is like very afraid, like for some reason that you know how it is in the dreams that you don't really know why, but you're scared. Everybody's like looking at him, and then through the crowd my father's friend comes, he shakes his hand, he says, man, it's me, don't worry, it's me, there's nothing to be afraid of. And then my father wakes up, and the same day he gets the news that when my father's friend was scuba diving, he was run over by a boat.
Holy shit.
So I grew up with this story. Like the word I was looking for was superstitious. My father is not a
Okay.
superstitious guy at all. But when it came to dreams, he was superstitious. Like we weren't allowed to talk about dreams at night. That's also like a superstition of my father. So that's kind of like a stemming point of the whole thing in Baskin.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah,
Dang, that is absolutely nuts. That's mind blowing.
it's crazy. I know.
Especially being young and being told that story. I can only imagine the things that are going through your head.
Yeah.
What
Also,
what go ahead.
yeah, also that's also I think that's why dreams are a big part of my work. Like if you like think about like in every movie of mine, like dreams are very much like at the core of things.
Right. Okay. One moment I wanted to ask, inquire about as far as Baskin as well is the scene where the character is in the pond or in the lake and the hand starts coming down. What was
Yes.
like an early idea for that? What was how was it exactly that you wanted that shot to look?
I mean, when I was like putting that into the script and the storyboard, I'm like, probably we're not going to be able to pull this off, but I'm just like writing this here anyway.
Hmm.
But it was my idea of like um, having a dream image, having a non-concrete image connecting the two worlds. And I said, like, he's like, after an accident, what can it be like? He's like in the water, and then a big hand. I don't know. It's just like, I don't know how I came up with that image. It wasn't necessarily like taking it from a other movie or something.
Sure.
But sorry, like I'm entering someplace. Yes. COVID precautions.
At least they're being safe. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that was funny. What I was going to ask as well, as far as you had mentioned the state of Turkey, do you get any pushback for the subjects and material that you put out as far as in your movies?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't know. Baskin was very much under the radar in terms of like I think it's much more known in outside Turkey than in Turkey. And then I was also like I mean it did work a lot for me like in terms of my career because of the Baskin success outside. I was picked as the first director in Turkey for a Netflix show.
Okay.
But I was never like I was never a big fan of the script. But I still like I remember it like being one of the best projects I've ever worked with in terms of production. But
Sure.
in terms of content, my work is like very avant-garde and under the radar. Like they're like right now you can't watch Baskin legally in Turkey because like nobody has it. Like
Oh, okay.
Netflix Turkey don't buy it. Housewife they don't buy it. I think like just this week I think they're gonna like it's gonna be on either Netflix or this other like platform for a year. But for the
Huh.
past year it wasn't anywhere. It was on this Blue TV for a year and then like it wasn't anywhere. So like Field Guide to Evil nobody cares about it here. So it's I'm kind of like I'm kind of more in a way more connecting with audiences outside Turkey. But I
Sure.
also do have a little cult following here. I have a fan base, if you will. I meet other people who say they love Baskin from time to time,
Hmm.
but it's not mainstream at all. and maybe for the better. Maybe for the better.
Okay, all right. You know, I wanted to mention as well. You know, so you are busy with you know, filming TV series. You're making movies. You have shorts. But you also fight. You also get in the ring, man.
I did
You got those paws. So
back
tell
in
me about that. How'd that come about?
back in the day, man. I mean, I was always a big fan of Van Damme movies and Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, you name it. The Raid is one of my all-time favorite movies. Bloodsport is probably like one of my all-time beloved movies. So when I discovered K1, do you know K1?
Yeah,
The kickboxing or
kickboxing.
before UFC, I was a big fan of K1 by around the year 2000.
Okay.
And then I just wanted to like have some kickboxing lessons to just to learn to punch. And when I first saw people sparring, I'm like, I'm never gonna do this. There's no way. And then I started doing it very light sparring. And then at the time, I just found out about Pride FC in Japan and then UFC in US. And then I became very interested with this. And then I started training more and more. I thought I was not bad. So like my coaches were like, we were having fun. And then the trainings, sparrings became like harder and harder. Every time I had shower, my nose was bleeding and stuff. So I said, like, what the hell? I'm just gonna fight once. I just want to experience this, just like bungee jumping. So I fought twice, and it was a crazy experience. Like I love it. I love it. I lost one. I won one. I knocked the guy down once with a Superman punch, if you will. Boom.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
and then also like I did jiu-jitsu, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu for like a couple years. I'm blue belt. Unfortunately, there's always a project coming up, and I can't attend as much as I can. But yeah, I try to like now. Like this fight I'm telling you was like 10 years ago. So
Okay.
I was 28 at the time.
Okay. All right. Sweet. What do you think about Fight Island going on? Not too far
Man,
away from you, dude.
it's I'm kind of like in the middle. It's not that close, but like
Okay. I guess I'm
I
speaking from the United States.
yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy as shit. I can't believe, like, it's almost like a sci-fi movie that they're doing something like that.
Isn't it? Yes.
Kind of blows my mind.
Yes, I'm blown away. Like my wife like is like having very much fun with like this crazy like excitement I'm having that nobody shares with me. You know,
Yeah.
UFC is like unfortunately UFC is not popular here at all. And I'm like one of the few guys who's been watching UFC properly from 2003 onwards. And I also like go back and watch all the old fights too. Like I'm a big fan of Mark Coleman, Don Fry, you name it, like the old school guys. And then like I also did commentating here, live commentating on the live TV here for UFC. But this is like UFC plays here 5 a.m. man, 5 a.m. That's also another reason why it's not very popular. So yeah.
That's like the time over here that they want to play the naughty movies. They put the 4 a.m. slot.
Yeah, but also other than that, like we're doing a show here about like it's called No Pain, Acı. It's called No Pain, and we're just like with a friend of mine, we're just analyzing fight movies from Bloodsport to Foxcatcher to American Samurai to Kill Bill, Mortal Kombat, Raging Bull, One Armed Boxer 2, The Master of Flying Guillotine. All that stuff.
What is? I don't think I've ever heard of the last one. One armed boxer, the guillotine.
Yeah. Before Bruce Lee, there was Jimmy Wang Yu. If you Google him,
I think I've heard of him actually.
Yes, and like it's crazy that he has this character with like one arm, and he's a very cult classic celebrity in the Middle East. No, not Middle East, in the Far East. With Golden Harvest production company, like before Bruce Lee. And his craziest movie is called One Armed Boxer 2. He's not even a boxer, but in the West, back in the day, martial arts was like, perceived as boxing. But AKA Master of Flying Guillotine. And there's this crazy like weapon that the guy uses. It's like a kind of like it's like a little thing that opens like an umbrella. It becomes like a basket, if you will. You throw it like frisbee, and then it lands on this guy's head. It becomes like a guillotine, and then you pull the head, like take it as a trophy. It's crazy.
Shit.
Yeah, in Mythbusters, I think in Mythbusters they actually tried this. Ben sonra gelsin olur mu? Okay. They actually tried this. Yeah.
So, is this a 70s movie?
This is, I think 78 or 75. Yeah.
God, I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds amazing. I've never even heard of it.
It's crazy. Non-stop action. Like the first 2 minutes, you're either in for it or you turn it off. First 2 minutes.
Okay. So if you could have any UFC fighter, any martial arts fighter in any of your movies, who would you have? To make it a little bit easier, we'll go with alive. Anybody who's alive currently.
A UFC fighter. A UFC fighter. Man, most of those guys are probably bad actors, but like I'm a sucker for Wanderlei Silva, the axe murderer.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm a big fan of Wanderlei Silva, but from the young guys, new generation, I like Adesanya. I like Israel Adesanya.
Okay.
But also Mirko Krokop, like the old guy.
Oh yeah.
Older guy.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Mirko Krokop. Yeah, those guys.
I always feel like whenever I saw Dan Severn, you remember him?
Of course, the Beast.
The Beast
Severn.
Dude,
yes.
he always looked like a villain in like in a movie. Like he was gonna come in and be like a Swedish villain or some shit like that. Like that dude just always looked like he was ready to kill somebody at any moment.
True. I would love to make a biopic about like a movie about this guy called this British guy actually who's in a prison in Morocco. Do you know this guy?
Not sure. I'm not sure. Is he's a UFC fighter?
He was in UFC. It's I can't remember his name, but like I even had the conversation with his sister at some point. Maybe. Sorry, his name escapes me. But like, if you ever go to YouTube and type top 10 most controversial UFC fighters ever, or like the craziest UFC fight, this guy comes up like number 1 or number 2. He was involved. He fought with Anderson Silva back in the day in Britain, and then he was involved in the biggest bank heist of UK history, and then he gets caught. He gets caught in Morocco, and then he goes to jail. And in jail, he made an illegal interview with SMS with a website called middleeasy.com. Like and at the time I read about it, his name escapes. Lee Murray, yes.
Lee Murray.
Thailand, thank you. Yes, Lee Murray. I would love to make a documentary about Lee Murray. Yeah, thank you. Thailand saved me.
Damn. Okay. All right. Awesome. You currently have a Turkish martial arts cult cinema talk show, correct? That was what you were talking about earlier. Is it kind of like a podcast?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's called No Pain in Turkey. It's in YouTube. It's in Turkish.
Okay.
But yeah, it's there. We're doing season 2 now. Like we're on number 13. Sweet.
That rules. I just wanted to plug that again because I know we were talking some of the fight and stuff too, and I knew that you had mentioned having that. So that's really that's sweet. Are you doing just like UFC mixed martial arts stuff, or what do you dig into with that?
No, it's the show I told you about. We're talking about martial art movies. It's
the movie. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
It's a martial art based cult cinema show.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're talking like in each episode, like we're approaching the movie from the fight style perspective, also from cult perspective. Sometimes movies don't have like that much of a cult. Anyway, yeah. So it's a mixed bunch. It's a mixed bunch.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah. Sorry about that. I was just thinking about it out loud, and I'm like, oh shit, that's what we were just talking about.
No. Yeah.
So outside of the horror realm, you also have a movie that really has my interest, and I'm sure a lot of people that are also in the horror community. The Girl with No Mouth. What can you tell us about that? And I haven't seen that it's released anywhere yet. What's going on with that recently?
We recently signed with IndieCan, a small indie distribution company from Canada, actually, for the North American rights. I was like super happy that like somebody picked it up in North America finally, because it's not a horror movie. So that's why all the horror festivals that loved Baskin and Housewife kind of passed on this. But it's my Goonies, man. It's my Goonies. It's set in a post-apocalyptic setting. It's very low budget. like all the movies that you can put Girl with No Mouth next to in your DVD shelf, they're all big budget movies like Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits, or maybe like what's closest to it is like Turbo Kid, but then again Turbo Kid had lots of gore.
Oh, yeah.
This is more, sometimes it's too naive maybe for what it is, but I love it. And it's about four little kids with like missing body parts. They're trying to find the lost city and escape the wasteland.
Damn, that sounds awesome. Everything that I've seen too, it looks so cool, and it's always been a favorite, probably since I've been younger. Kind of like, you know, a Stand By Me coming of age type story is what it kind of reminds me of. It's just these younger kids trying to find their way, but then they have these deformities too. You know, it's a very interesting looking take on something. Yes,
and it's also very art house handheld camera. It because it's like, look, we shot the whole thing in 18 days in 3 different cities. And it's government funded, as crazy as it is, because like it's things work sometimes. You know, Lord works in mysterious ways sometimes.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. Damn. Have you ever thought about just to get a little interest over there? You know, or a little bit more interest, making some bootlegs of like Baskin and tossing them in some of those shops?
I mean, those shops, unfortunately, because of streaming, like piracy, like ate itself. Those shops kind of like are non-existent now. It's all streaming now. It's all streaming. Physical media died. Physical piracy died. It's all like, you know, streaming piracy now, which is like even worse. I hate it. So, but yeah, that's definitely my attitude.
Sure.
You know, like when I was a student in London, when I was a student in Canterbury, my dream would be one day to have a film and have the DVD in the HMV stores in the Leicester Square. And by the time Baskin, like I was so super like lucky to have to materialize this dream. And by the time Baskin was released on DVD, HMV shut down. So
damn,
it's
that
like
sucks.
Interesting transition period like we're living through now.
Sure. Okay. If you could go, so like over in the States here, we have, you know, we still have some video rental stores, you know, and just different shops. And every once in a while, they'll have like a big bulletin board that'll be staff picks. It'll be staff, you know, their favorite movies or movies that they recommend based off of something. So if they were to have Baskin up on the staff picks with, let's say, 3 other horror movies ever, what would you want those other movies to be?
City of the Living Dead.
Oh, yes.
Frontiers.
Yeah, I just had Xavier Jens on the show last
Xavier Jens, like I had the chance to meet him in Morbido in in Mexico City. Super cool guy. He has this amazing show called Gangs of London now, which I have yet to watch, but I will.
Yeah, me too. It's not available over here yet, but I'm hearing amazing things.
Yeah, and then next to it, like I think I always like diversity, so I think maybe The Raid would be so cool to have my movie next to.
Okay.
But if you're like looking for like similar movies, I think The Void would make a really cool double feature with Baskin.
Hell yeah. That was one of those movies that came out that it kind of started with this like nightmare logic where, you know, for a long time people are like, it just doesn't make sense. What am I supposed to be looking for? What does it mean? It's like, stop. Just watch it.
Yes. It spoke to me like so much. I think like there were many similar inspirations with Baskin, even in the imagery, the final imagery too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Also, like somebody like down in the comments mentioned The Wailing. Have you seen the South Korean Wailing?
Yeah. That movie is haunting too.
I love it. I need to watch it again. I watched it maybe 2 times, but I need to see it again. I love it.
Yeah. That movie is awesome. Another that was recent that kind of took me off guard. I don't know if you saw, was The Train to Busan. You ever watch that one?
I watched it in the theater. I loved it, man.
Oh my god, that was mind blowing too.
It was mind blowing.
You know, the funny thing is too, a lot of times that you hear in the horror community is that movies outside of the 70s and 80s aren't scary or aren't, you know, don't have the heart, don't have this and this. And it's kind of like my draw to doing this show too, as far as, because I'm a drummer in a metal band or a hardcore band as well. So, you know, it's kind of my draw as far as showing some of those people in that community, some of the great people that are making movies right now, some of the people that are in the horror community, seeing some of the bands that I, you know, check out and play with and listen to. And so, you know, you are definitely one person that has been just an absolute draw since I started all this, and I really appreciate you being on and doing this and being here with and just having a
Dude, thank you
welcome
so
arms,
much.
man.
It
I
means so
appreciate
much.
that.
Thank you. It's
So
awesome to hear that.
this is your moment. If you want to plug, I do have one more finale question. If you want to plug just what you have going on right now, some recent projects outside of all this COVID shit, this is your opportunity, man.
Well, recently, I just did a mini series, like 8 episodes, 20 minutes each, about a call girl in Istanbul, and
Okay.
it's very, very promiscuous in Turkish standards, and we shot it on an iPhone. We shot it like
really?
2.5 weeks. Very, very, non-professional, some non-professional actors, some very experienced actors, but we have a breakthrough star. Our lead actress is like a breakthrough, like a career moment right now. And
Damn.
I wrote and directed and edited it. I had full-on creative license, but in return, it was very, very low budget. But now it's been released on the Turkish alternative to Netflix, Blue TV, and
Okay.
they're kind of like keeping it under the radar. They're not making big ads about it because they don't want to like get in trouble with the government.
Sure.
But we have even today in the beach, like we have some like random people like coming up to us and we love the show. We watched the whole thing twice, so like we're loving it. It's called Naked.
Okay.
And like it's totally different from what I did, but it's still when I was a horror fan, when I told you like 18, 19, when I discovered all these horror movies like horror classics, I was also a big fan of Larry Clark and Harmony Korine, if you will.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like something between Sex and the City and Harmony Korine for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, what a pitch.
Yeah, it's because it's also very much on the surface and it's very, very pop. It's very pop.
Okay.
But I think it works that way. That's the that's the spirit of it.
Okay. It's like your pitch at mainstream, but you're still pushing in your little interests and your little dirtiness to it.
True. It's based on a true
Sweet.
story, like that's somebody I know. So it's very like I'm super happy that it's been received well. But still, we always have our haters, of course.
Yeah.
Haters gonna hate. I love that too.
Is that the show? I see everybody commenting, and don't hate me if I pronounce this wrong. Is it Çiplak?
Yes, naked.
Okay.
It means naked in Turkish.
Naked. Okay. All right. Yeah, I see a ton of people reposting it on your page too, and I'm really interested. I hope that that's something that ends up coming over here because I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's been in the talks now. Like I think it will be released outside Turkey too, hopefully.
Hell yeah! Awesome. All
Yes.
right, man. Well, I'll be looking forward to that, and I know as soon as I see anything about it, I'll be posting it on here too. So this is
Hopefully, I'll strike back with a horror like very soon. Hopefully,
yeah. I mean,
I miss it. I miss it a lot.
It's good to have those things, and maybe some people disagree, but I also like seeing directors branch to different levels as well, because a lot of times you kind of see, possibly different actors that you might not see in roles, or different themes in something that it could be just a regular show like you're talking about, that's kind of a more mainstream push, but there's little things that you wouldn't regularly see in something.
True, definitely.
Love it. All right. Well, this is the finale. This is the finale question, man. I appreciate your time. So, in our conversations, I noticed that you like to use some of the emoji, the picture comments there for some of your responses. So, I was just going to ask you to explain in a couple emojis a couple of your movies here. So, first off, if we can dig in, if we can say, how would you explain Housewife in a couple emojis?
That lady like this, and then next to it a squid, and fire and eye maybe.
Oh my God! Oh, this is gonna go better than I thought. Oh shit! All right. And then next, I was gonna ask about to my mother and father. Oh.
To my mother and father, probably that theater mask thing, the baby. And then again, I think I always go to the squid or the fire or the eye. I love those things, man.
All right, and then last but not least, Baskin.
Baskin, the frog and the police siren.
Oh yeah, okay, all right, hell yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, what more do you need? Shit, it's
exactly.
explained. There it is. All right, man. This has been absolutely amazing. This is our time. I'm gonna let you continue your beautiful day. It looks like at the
Thank you.
beach.
Thank you.
Thank,
Yeah, we're
thank
at
you
dinner.
so much.
It's almost dinner time now.
Oh, okay. It's like
Yes.
8 o'clock, isn't it?
Yes.
Dang. Okay. Well, very wild. Yeah. Go ahead and plow it in,
What
man.
time is it there? Oh, it's in the morning, right?
It's just about 1 p.m.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Midday.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
So
dude,
just starting it, man.
this was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and hopefully I'll stay in touch with you, man.
Okay, are you gonna save this and put this on
Yeah,
somewhere?
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I should tell everybody. So this is all going to be saved. It's going to be edited. I'll have it on my YouTube page at the Lo-Fi Horror Guy.
Awesome.
I will send you the link when I have that up. I'll post it up on my page as well and get that get
Okay,
that pushed
I
out for
love the
everybody to
name,
see.
by the way, the Lo-Fi Horror Guy. I love the name.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, it kind
Okay.
of came from just the old lo-fi records and being a fan of music, and then horror.
Yeah, I love it.
All right,
Dude,
man.
thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye
Take
bye.
care. John Evrenol, Lo-Fi Horror Guy. Stay safe. Bye bye.
He's a lo-fi horror guy. Yeah, he's kind of a guy, but he is so lo-fi, a horror guy. Yeah, baby.